A shock arrest has ruined Donald Trump's life, and it is because his MAGA movement relies so much on criminals. Donald Trump is a criminal himself, but he has also surrounded himself with people who love breaking the law. Now, it's because Donald Trump empathizes with terrible people. He really likes them, but he also knows that they will do his bidding. If they have broken the law outside of the Trump orbit, once they get close to power, they happily will again. But the problem for Donald Trump right now, the problem with this shock arrest, is it's showing that Donald Trump might not protect as many people as the MAGA movement thought. Now, they have gone out and done all sorts of horrible things for Donald Trump. But if Donald Trump is not going to protect them, that support might dry up. And it currently is right now with Andrew Tate, who Donald Trump doesn't seem to be intervening to support. And even his son is getting caught up in it all. Now, before we get into all of the reasons this arrest is so bad as it continues to play out for Donald Trump, I want to start with the shock and very fantastic news that we covered on this show of Congresswoman Yasmin Ansari coming out and saying it's time to subpoena Barron Trump for his connection to the criminal Tate brothers.
Do you think we can see subpoenas of the Trump kids, Eric, Don Jr., Barron, if that's where the evidence leads?
I hope to issue one of those myself. Absolutely. I mean, there's no question. I mean, look at Donald Trump Jr. as one example. Donald Trump Jr. has been at the forefront and has made record profits because he is a partner at a venture capital firm that continues to invest in companies that are getting contracts from the federal government, oftentimes no bid contracts from the federal government at the direction of senior administration officials and who knows, maybe Donald Trump himself. I mean, this is unprecedented levels of corruption. And the contrast between what they're doing to the American people is what makes it even more egregious. It's not just that they're making billions of dollars, which should in and of itself be reason to hold them accountable and prosecute them. But at the same time, they're ripping away healthcare from Americans. They're giving billions of dollars to ICE that is terrorizing people across this country. There's food assistance cuts like we've never seen before. They're refusing to lower the cost of living for American people while they get richer and richer and richer because their dad is in the White House and their dad is the president. And their dad actually uses his platform every single day to manipulate markets. We've seen that in this war, to talk about companies or issues that his sons are investing in. So yes, absolutely. There will be subpoenas and these people will come before Congress. I think Donald Trump himself needs to come testify, especially before the Oversight Committee as it pertains to the Epstein files. I think the work ahead, I will tell you, is there's no lack of it.
Of course, Barron Trump needs to be subpoenaed. Of course, Barron Trump, much like the rest of the Trump children, needs to be investigated. And I hate saying the word children, but I know you know what I mean. He's not a child. He's 19 years old and he loves sex criminals. So we're going to have to ask him some questions about them, including his father, who I should point out is one as well. But none of these people get to get off because they're related to the president. In fact, the opposite. They have used that connection to not just do their own bidding for profit, but it hurts us. If we are staying in this war on Iran because it is profitable for Don Jr. and Eric, that means their profit comes at our pain. If Barron gets to be better friends with Andrew Tate because we bring a dangerous criminal to our shores, that means Barron is getting a better buddy because it's putting us in danger. So yes, he needs to be subpoenaed. He needs to answer for his relationship. But it seems like less and less of a relationship every single day. Carolyn Levitt saying this is why Donald Trump has really fucked his life.
Danny.
Thanks, Caroline. Is President Trump or the administration, do they have any plans to intervene in the extradition process for the Tate brothers?
No, already answered that question.
All right, so this happened a little bit earlier in the week, but as all of this news around Andrew Tate has played out, I have found it really interesting that Donald Trump is just staying away. Tate was a very, very influential voice for Donald Trump in 2024, not only getting young people to support Donald Trump's campaign, but actually turning them out to vote, right? Getting them off the couch. And the fact that Donald Trump is willing to throw this guy under the bus, sure, it's funny because if you work with or for or around Donald Trump, you eventually get screwed. But as of late, Donald Trump has at least protected people on the criminal side, right? Pam Bondi doesn't have a job anymore, but Trump will probably pardon her. The same is true with Kristi Noem. Hegseth does not fear, or at least it doesn't look like, the punishment that should come his way for war crimes, because Donald Trump always protects criminals. He wouldn't let Netanyahu get arrested by New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani. He put that out on Truth Social. But Andrew Tate, who's influential in the MAGA sphere, Donald Trump throws under the bus, then how can he trust people to turn out for him? How can people trust Trump? Right? The beginning of this administration was nothing but the clearest sign and signal Donald Trump could possibly send to his supporters. If you break the law for me, I got your back. He spent the first day pardoning January 6th insurrectionists. He spent the next year trying to figure out how to cut him a check for $2 billion. But he didn't deliver, and they're pissed. So why would they show up again? He freed them, but will he have the ability to do so again? He didn't get to pay him. He's not freeing Andrew Tate. He's not standing in the way. So if you're a maggot and you want to commit some crime for your favorite president, what's the incentive? Sure, they're in a cult. It's a death cult. They're brain broken. But can they trust him? One of their favorites, he can't trust Trump. It might be a problem, especially when the connections were really strong. Trump was backing him up.
And I'm very close to the Trump family. I know them well, and I spoke to Barron after the incident, and I look forward to, once I am free, being with Donald Trump in person and reminding him that he's a bulletproof badass.
This is the attorney for President Trump, somebody who has been a fighter for the America First Party. Her name is Alina Habba, and she joins us live right now.
Hey.
Hello, Alina.
Hi.
Hello.
Nice to meet you. I'm a big fan.
Well, nice
Big
to meet
fan.
you.
Formal charges against Andrew Tate include rape, human trafficking of minors.
So let me make it very clear. We know that this is what Donald Trump does to everyone in his life. If you are around Donald Trump, you are ultimately going to get screwed one way or another. But like I said, legally is not something that we have seen much of during the Trump administration. In fact, so much of the Trump administration has been about getting criminals off. If you have a little bit of money, you can get a pardon from Donald Trump. But that has changed with Andrew Tate. Now, we may see a development weeks down the road, which is why it is important that Barron is investigated if that does come about. And putting this pressure on the administration via Barron hopefully stands in the way of that. But again, the message is bad for Trump. He wants his people to believe that they will always be backed up by the state. And that is what you need to be a fascist. You need to tell your vigilantes, you need to tell, the Patriot Front people, you need to tell them, what did Donald Trump say? Stand back and stand by. Stand by. You'll have my support. But Donald Trump is sending a message in flashing lights. This guy doesn't. Now, again, let's be clear. This isn't because of some moral moment that Donald Trump has had. Absolutely not. But because it'll cost him political capital. And he also doesn't have it right now. Donald Trump doesn't have the backing of Republicans really on anything. So right now, he is scrambling. Right now, it's exposing his weakness. So go after him more. Go after Barron. Congresswoman Ansari had a great explanation why she is.
Absolutely. I could not agree more. Barron Trump is an adult. He's a full-blown adult, and he is very influential in the Trump White House orbit. I mean, we know from the first administration and from this administration that the Trump children play a very big role in the administration and policies that are passed. They benefit financially from the way the Trump administration operates and the self-dealing and the corruption that takes place. We know, very famously, Ivanka Trump also, who I think even as a grown woman gets the same kind of treatment, right? Because of her relationship with her father, and the way Donald Trump talks about her. I think there are a lot of parallels to be drawn with the, Donald Trump Ivanka relationship and the way he tries to, let her get away with her actions. It's the same with Barron and Melania. But Ivanka had a very big role in the first administration. Jared Kushner is still conducting foreign policy on behalf of the United States. Barron Trump has not only been influential in the campaign and connecting the campaign to the manosphere, which of course Andrew Tate is a major influencer in that space, but he also has is similar to his brothers undertaking in corruption, undertaking in investments and prediction markets and stock trading, that is to his own benefit, while the administration takes away healthcare from millions of Americans. So we need to stop looking at them as though they're these like innocent, naive kids who, aren't part of any of this. They also choose the limelight. They choose to want to be involved with the campaigns. They choose to be involved with the administration. And therefore, if they are committing crimes or if they are engaging in activity that is against the law in any way, shape, or form, then they ultimately have to be held accountable.
These people are adults, and there has been so much MAGA infantilizing recently, pretending that they are not responsible for their own actions, when in fact they are. I also see this as a bit of a tone-setting moment. We need to make clear right now that I don't care, and Democrats shouldn't care who you are. You will be prosecuted if you broke the law. We can't play nice with people, because if we do, we will just revert back to the fascist state, right? Merrick Garland tried to follow not even rules, but kind of arbitrary customs of politeness. And where did it get us? You cannot be polite with fascists. Now, a lot of people might disagree with what I'm about to say, because some people like manners. But usually when someone has really great manners, they're kind of an asshole. Some of the worst people I have ever met use the performance of niceness to mask how awful they are in the inside. And this is what people always say about Trump. He's very charming in person. Yeah, he's an asshole. He's putting a cover on. So if you are polite to fascists, you are buying into a framework that they are desperate for you to fall into, which is that we all have to be civil and very kind. But then they fuck you. And then there's no civility, and you cry civility, and they say, too bad. You cannot play by the rules of their game, because when they don't like the rules, as we've seen time and time again, they just tear them up. So yes, this is a tone-setting moment right now that we should go after everybody in the courts and also in the court of public opinion, as my good friend Jennifer Welch, and this is where I want to close, did with Barron's mom.
Melania Trump is this country's worst mother. And I'm going to go on record. There is the biggest deadbeat mother in the United States of America is Melania Trump. Barron is close personal friends with the Tate brothers. And that to me is just completely failed parenting. If my sons said that they were listening to, watching, or liked Andrew Tate, hell hath no fury. I would grab the ear and pinch them, I would ground them, I would take away their phones. This is a parenting thing. Barron is my youngest son's age. And it's out there in the world. I mean, he has said, Andrew Tate, I'm very close with Barron and the Trump boys. We all know Tweedledee and Tweedle Dipshit, Dumb and Dumber. Of course they love. But Melania, what a shitty mother she is to not correct this or make a statement about this. This is the same woman who said, my husband wants people to walk down the street without being raped. So give me a fucking break, Melania. Your husband is the rapist, and why are you allowing Barron to be friends with other rapists, the Tate brothers?
Absolutely, Jen. Absolutely, you are right. These people are terrible, and they should be talked about that way. Save the politeness for some other day in which fascists aren't trying to take over our government. Then maybe we can be a little nice to each other.